cloud to sky. Neighbours taking the piss of their party again. Hope I don't come home in my car really. Right, let's go. Yeah, not done a vlog for a while because I've been not feeling brilliant from the hay fever and things. The hay fever was really bad this year for some reason. I think it's something, well, the weather's been, I haven't really decided, it's been an absolute horrendous year for weather, so it's probably got something to do with everything like that. And the crops being late and early and don't know what they're doing, so they're just fucking my life up as well as their own. Yeah, so what's really been happening? I've been asked a few times this week. Well, it's not. I've not been asked. It's come up in conversation as to why I got into biking. Let's go this way. This is a nice day. Yeah, I've got a few friends that are doing their direct access test. Because they've decided that they're going to get bikes because it's more cost effective for them. They both work in London, fairly central London, and they're fed up of either sitting on the train or sitting in traffic jams in their cars for hours and hours and hours on end every day. And there's a couple of people at their work that ride bikes, and they've realised that they can get their money back, plus the time that they're losing, which obviously you can't put a price on, in about 18 months of taking their tests. So they're all excited and asking me for advice on various bits and bobs, and it's good to get some bikers, you know, see the enthusiasm that I had. Was that 20 years ago? Yeah, so they're quite keen. They're worried about the bad weather and stuff, but I've told them that if you get the proper kit, then it's not an issue really. Yeah, so they've been going out on a bike. I took one of them on the back of this for a gentle tootle, and that was completely different because although they've never been on a bike before until they started doing their training, and they're quite good at riding a bike, but they hadn't been on the back of anyone before, and I didn't go stupid. I'm just riding like I'm doing this morning, and I didn't want to scare them and put them off. Can't see the point in that. Yeah, so I gave them a lift and they said it's a completely different perspective because they're not in control, but they loved it. So yeah, so we've been around all the bike shops looking at bikes and things, and but how I got into bikes is by accident really. I was mad into cars and all that sort of stuff from being a, you know, 2 or 3 year old, and wanted to do something with cars in my life, and then I left school and couldn't get a job at a car garage. I got offered one at a motorcycle dealership, well, a small workshop really. It wasn't a dealership, it was a motorcycle workshop, and that was when I was 17, coming up to 18. And didn't know anything about bikes. You know, I knew what a bike was, but didn't know anything about bikes, and didn't really have an interest in bikes. But from that day, never looked back. And I've ridden every day, not necessarily on my own bike, because I've had periods where I've had not had a road bike of my own. I've either had a track bike, race bike, an enduro bike. I had a period where I had a real risk of losing my licence. So I had a 5-year period where I didn't ride on the road, because I had these magical points that the police like to give you, or the magistrates like to give you. I was on an excessive amount. But born again, no, responsible biker now, clean licence and all that. I didn't really miss riding on the road of my own, because I was still test riding bikes and things. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, that don't ride bikes go, oh, well, they're dangerous, and don't you feel vulnerable? But that vulnerability of not having a big metal box around you makes you a much better, much more observant rider and driver when you do get in the car, and also, you know, you're a little bit more defensive, not in an aggressive way, just for self-preservation. Which is always a good thing. Makes you a lot more observant. You tend to look a lot further ahead than a normal. You notice stuff a lot earlier than a normal car driver would. Well, that's a nice piece of tarmac just there. And also, if you ride in the bad weather, it makes you a lot smoother, a lot more controlled rider. Because the day you pass your test is the day that your motorcycling education begins. And you should never stop taking training. You get the opportunity to do any sort of training, whether it be track-based, road-based, advanced training, a bike safe course, an interesting manoeuvre, young man. Every day is a school day, and you shouldn't stop learning. So I've been riding over 20 years now, and I still keep finding stuff that I need to improve on. It helps through my work, the type of bikes I ride, and the manner in which I'm taught to ride has helped me a lot in my own riding. But no, it's good. I never regret passing my test. There's been some low times, which might have something to do with my username, but most of that was speed related, and youth and exuberance took over, where maybe my brain should have been a bit more involved. But most of the crashes I've had haven't actually been on the road. I've had a few bad ones on the road, but most of them have been doing other things, enduro or track racing, track days, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, sometimes 1 wheel. I had a spectacular crash on a Bandit 1200 involving just 1 wheel. Them were the days. My insurance company loved me. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting into bikes and you're a bit unsure, and my 2 friends were a bit unsure, and they went to a Ducati rider experience day, where you got to ride around on a, I can't remember what size of monsters they are now, 696 or something they are now, baby monsters. And yeah, go on mate, load room. to be able to see from all up there, sat up there in the high and mighty V8 Ranger. Yes, they did a taster experience and loved it. I'm not sure they fell in love with the bikes to start off with. I think it was the skin tight leather that they were a little bit more excited about. But no, it's good. So I'm going to have some new riding buddies when they get through the test. One of them's already done the test, but we've promised that we're not going to go out as a rebellious motorcycle gang until they've all passed the tests, which should be next week. And if the weather's like this, it should be good for them. Yeah, so I've been getting dragged around a few bike shops. And because they've learnt on Ducatis, one of them's after has bought a stupendous Ducati, but not the most obvious choice. And the other one is looking at a Kawasaki Z800, is it now? Which is a great looking bike. I've worked on Kawasaki's for some of my career, so it's a good choice. Well, you know, it's this sort of bike. Your first bike tends to be, if you've done direct access, you tend to get bored with something. Because you're riding a bigger bike, you're not going through the stages of like a 125, then you move up to something a bit bigger and a bit bigger and a bit bigger. With direct access, because you're jumping on a fairly big bike anyway, and obviously there's a financial commitment, you need to make sure that you've got the right bike to start off with. So you don't want anything too naff. I suggested an ER6, but apparently that didn't have enough of everything required. I've told them not to jump in and go crazy, but one of them's completely ignored my advice. Well, I'm not going to say anything about that, because that might feature in a new blog later on the line. Especially if I get to ride it, because I'm quite excited about that. Not my kind of bike anymore. Used to be, not anymore, but yeah, it's supposed to be the absolute ducks doodahs, so for a near miss here yesterday. No, it's alright. Yeah, so we'll do a bit of vlogging when they get their bikes out, because it'll be visually entertaining if nothing else. So it's going to be another warm day again today. They reckon it's going to be tropical thunderstorms later in the week, so that'll be something exciting to ride through. Particularly if I can't take my car home, because I can't park the bloody thing at home because of my neighbours. Don't know how many times I have to ask them, really. I have to get a bit aggressive. Or assertive, rather, not aggressive. I'm going to go around with a baseball bat. Right, well, I'm nearly here, so I'll sign off now, and hopefully have a good day. I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you another time. Have a good one.